Hello, welcome to Sephra's World. My name is Sephra. This is my world. Whew. And today we have an episode of Writers Behaving Badly. Now, I'm trying to approach this subject diplomatically, and I also approach it from the idea that I hate pylons. I hate it when someone screams, "Oh, look at that person, what they said." We all have to unfriend them. We all have to, go hysterical and tell our friends to tell their friends to tell their friends that that person is now an outcast. And I hate that. Now it's happened again. So, what happened this week was Greta, the teenager, the 16-year-old, had a platform to speak about climate change and to urge people in power to deal with it because she's terrified that she'll never, and as anyone who's a teenager right now, and because I know me in my 50s, am wondering how much longer do I have to plan my life for? Is it even worth writing books anymore? Because there are no archives. The world's going to be dead, right? So I don't know. Some people think that we're on a fast track to extinction. Other people are like chill, man. Like the earth shifts and changes all the time. And I personally believe and understand and know because I'm educated, and I was educated before the internet, so I have that education plus things I can find out about on the internet and YouTube and stuff, and some may be true, some may not, but I am educated enough and I was educated to form an opinion. And a lot of the courses I took were about learning how to form an opinion, learning how to look at all the facts and form an opinion. So that's where I come from with my stuff. And all I can say is that now we have a very famous author, Dan Simmons, wrote a post yesterday where he was very upset at this girl and called her a brat. And, I guess he's a climate change denier and he has the right to believe whatever he wants. And then I only saw a little bit of his thread yesterday because someone posted a link because I'm not friends with Dan Simmons, so I never see his posts. I don't know if I ever was. I certainly have read his work over the years. And so there was this huge thread of people on both sides arguing and bickering and such. A lot of people saying they're gonna give his books away, and other people saying, no, you don't give his books away. You gotta burn them because why would you pass them on and all this sort of stuff. And then other people telling people, oh, doing the usual high school thing of, I saw that he has 1,000 friends in common with me, and how dare you all still be friends with him when he's been doing this stuff. Now, let me tell you, I rarely go on Facebook anymore these days. I go on to post links to my websites and stuff. I'll go and cruise through, look at a few of my friends. I'll see what's in the feed at the time I'm looking at the feed. Usually in the morning when I'm trying to wake up, I'll get my phone and I'll lie in bed and look at the Facebook then. And then I try to get on with my day, though I do pop in and out, but I have a very bad addiction to Facebook, so I'm really trying to break it because I need to write my own stories and live my own life. So I did follow this for about an hour last night, looking at various people's things, and more and more stuff's coming through the feed. And this morning I didn't look at all. I've had a hugely busy day, so I don't know how things are going right now, but I did think I need to address this in my Writers Behaving Badly commentary. And basically, this is another example, in my opinion, of artist. You know, we see this, and so many times the artist who's an amazing artist, you may think Picasso or someone like that, turns out to be not the person we hoped they were. We put them on a pedestal because their art is so good or they're bestsellers, they write compelling stories or paint compelling pictures or make compelling movies. Then we find out in real life that their political and social ideals don't align with our own, so therefore this art doesn't count. So these are questions we have to ask ourselves. I'm of the opinion, in my own opinion, that these crazy people make the art, right? This art probably wouldn't be so spectacular if these people weren't the people that they are. And that's with warts and all. That's like Picasso being a narcissistic jerk and going through women like, playing them against each other, gaslighting, just being a terrible, terrible human being. Yet he's a revered artist. I remember with Ender's Game, people loved Orson Scott Card, and then they found out who he was as a person because now we have social media. Does that negate Ender's Game, which was one of the best novels in the science fiction field for years and years and years? I personally haven't read it since I was a kid, so but it comes to mind because one of my kids read it, loved it, and then discovered the truth, and it's difficult for him because he loves that whole series, and then because he's an educated person, we even had a conversation a couple weeks ago about how he can see how the reality of this person's political viewpoints and such did feed into how that Ender's Game series went. And so it probably wouldn't existed without these extreme views. Yet he was able to fictionalize it and make it into something else, right? So now we have Dan Simmons, who so many people admired for, bestseller movies, the whole ball of wax, and now people who were fans 2 days ago are now calling him a bitter old white man, 71-year old crusty jerk, and all this stuff, right? So what's with the name calling? He's always been the way he's been, I think. Um, Sometimes they say sometimes people change as they get into their 70s and 80s because they're starting to develop dementia or Alzheimer's, and this can make them go more right wing. I've read this theory before. I've read it many times, and maybe there's something to that. Maybe he was more of a hippie and now he's going right wing. I don't know. I don't know the man. I don't think I've ever even talked to him in real life. Um, but here we are. So here we are, everybody judging. And yeah, what he said wasn't cool at all. I agree. I agree it was not nice, but it was on his own wall, his own very own Facebook wall that he can post about whatever the heck he likes on it, and you can read it or not. But now people are super angry, some people, and then the people who are angry at his comments, then there's people who are angry at the people who are angry at the comments because they agree that this girl shouldn't have gotten the platform she got and that she's just being hysterical and so on. I personally think it's great that a 16-year-old even got a chance to speak in public, regardless of what she said. So, you know, but again, it's not my battle. It's not my situation. I'm just bringing it to you to think about, again, your own values, your own morals. Where is the art and where's the artist? And what line do you draw? Do you want them as a package? So when that person doesn't do what you think they should do, you throw out all their art that you actually used to enjoy, but now you don't because it's tainted because you found out who they really are? Or are you still able to see the art and separate it from the human being that created it, right? Because historically, like most of the artwork that has lived through the ages, there's been something wrong with someone. I mean, don't get me started with the whole Lovecraft. I'll never tackle that subject on. I don't even know why I said it out loud right now because I don't want to hear about it. Um, yeah, is a racist asshole, right? Um, so you could come to your own terms and don't be a schoolyard bully. Like don't be that person going, "Oh, you got to unfriend this person. I can't believe you're still friends with that person." Like, how does that make you a better person than the person who was the artist, and now the, the human has failed in our eyes, or whatever happened in your particular eyes, the art is still there. And who are you to judge? What do you have in your closet? What mindset do you have that's so perfect that you can bring judgment onto everyone else, right? So you got to think about all these things when you start picking on people and being the bully that you say you don't want to be, because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And you can say, "Oh yeah, he's a racist, he's a this, he's a that," to whoever you're talking about. You all have to unfriend him because I have judged him to be not worthy of you being a Facebook friend with them. And that's, you know, think about who you are, what you want, and curate your Facebook to be how you want it to be. I've said it a million times myself that I don't unfriend anyone just because they have opinions that aren't mine. I like to see everyone's opinions about everything so that I can make my own informed judgments about what's really happening in the world. If you're curating your page to be an echo chamber, you only hear yourself screaming at yourself in your own void, and you'll never see what's really happening, and then you'll be in for a rude awakening when you actually go out the door and see people in the real world with opinions different than yours, and you won't know how to deal with it because you spend all your time blocking and unfriending undesirable people. And I've actually been pretty shocked myself at how many people have unfriended me, and I'm sure lots of people are going to unlike my YouTube page because I'm having an opinion, and that's fine because I this is my YouTube and I can say what I want. And I think bullying begins at home. So, when you're all perfect, then you can go and bully people who have opinions. So, yeah, I am trying to be in the middle on this, but no, I don't I didn't like what he said either. I didn't. I'm a woman and I was an outspoken 16-year-old, and I certainly could have been that girl if times were different, screaming at, "What are you doing?" I'm going to the climate march tomorrow, so I'll be screaming there. All right. So, anyways, what do you think? Do you have opinions? Artists? Yeah, this went longer than I wanted as usual, but that's how it goes. Okay, have a great day, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Writers Behaving Badly.